I'm so glad you're here with us today. This is how to do a 30-day marijuana cleanse. My name's Adam. I have multiple master's degrees, an education degree. This is what I do. This is what I love, helping people overcome blocks, heal their life in cycles of harm, create space for reflection and cleanse opportunities. I have 14 years of sobriety. So my own relationship to marijuana was deep and thorough. And I'll talk with you a little bit about that as we go through it. This is going to be an overview of a powerful 4-week path to reset your mind body, to recalibrate your relationship to cannabis. And if you've been smoking daily, it is super vital that you give yourself space. A 30-day cleanse is vital. It gives your body time to reset. And then you can reevaluate on a basis of clear perspectives about your relationship. It's exceptional work. It can be hard. And we're going to run through some of the practices. The introduction, let's jump into it. The introduction is that, of course, marijuana can be a tool, a habit. It can be dependency. There is the healing art used around the marijuana as a plant healer, plant helper is those worlds have blown up. The medical marijuana industry has blown up. But more and more people are suffering from forms of like, oh, I overdid it, like I've become dependent, like the relationship that was once fun, or forms of medicalized treatment have sort of crossed the threshold, and we need to do cleanses. And it's sort of just like, marijuana operates on so many different levels throughout society. But like personally, I know for me, smoking every day for so many years, it reshaped my mood, my motivation. It reshaped even like my identity was being reshaped. So after the 30-day cleanse that I did, it gave me opportunity. I just sort of continued that and decided that actually that relationship in the way that it was unfolding in my life had come to a conclusion. So regardless, a 30-day cleanse isn't about demonizing marijuana. That's not it. I always, it took me a long time to realize like, oh, marijuana is not the problem. Like I'm abusing marijuana. I'm like relying on it to bring me more resources than was available for it to give. And, it's just the natural chemistry of our bodies. We develop tolerance and relationship to any drug, right? It's any sort of like mood or mind altering drug. We develop tolerance if used in long enough periods on a daily basis. So, this is going to be about creating some clarity, giving some distance for you to sort of like reevaluate your relationship to cannabis and what role it should play in your future. And that happened with me, like I mentioned. You'll hear a little bit more about my specific story and narrative on down towards the bottom. But, I was smoking daily. I needed, more and more, and always demanded more than it could provide. And so it was just crucial that I do this. And so this practice comes from my 14 years of sobriety, a 20 plus year relationship with marijuana. And I hope you are benefiting from it. So in this guide, we're going to talk about like what happens to your brain and body during a cleanse, how to prepare and set yourself up for success, what to expect week by week, coping strategies for cravings and mood shifts. Now, this guide is also meant to be like independently driven. So, using this guide without me here, it should be a complete tool for you. So to begin, like writing a self-reflection prompt, a lot of this guide involves self-reflective prompts, which are self-authoring, sometimes self-therapeutic, but putting pen to paper is a huge beneficial practice. Things are revealed, but just putting pen to paper that would never come to the light, to the surface of our consciousness without the practice. The practice is what's primary, and that's what we'll see through the 4 weeks cleanse. It's all about the daily, the weekly practices. So starting off, like, how would you define your relationship with marijuana? What do you hope will be different in your life 30 days from now? And just jotting a couple of bullet points down, doesn't have to be even complete sentences, to get your wheels spinning. And you can come back to this too, but developing a why, like why do a marijuana cleanse, is huge, right? So what you hope will be different in your life 30 days from now, can be part of the why. And of course, parts, I've listed 4 things. Like part of the why is like, oh, it's going to reset your brain chemistry to create some distance from marijuana, going to improve your focus and memory, going to increase your energy and motivation. And you can get space, of course, to reevaluate that relationship. If you're here, if you're doing a 30-day cleanse, then that is already sort of like the assumption is that like a new evaluation of that relationship is now necessary. Like, welcome to the present. That's a gift, right? To reevaluate any sort of relationship and to take an accurate inventory of that. So write down your why statement, at least 3 reasons you're doing this cleanse. Think beyond just to quit and focus on a deeper impact. Your energy, the ways you give and receive, right? Everything's an energetic relationship. Your relationships, your self-respect, your career, your spiritual growth. And I know for me, just one other statement. I know for me that I got to the point of dependency with marijuana where I was expecting, like I said, to draw more out of that well, the well of marijuana, expecting it to give me more. And what happened was I was on a crutch, sort of like using cannabis as a crutch, neglecting different ways that I needed to focus on my growth psychologically, physically, and relationally, especially professionally, and my ability to earn, and ability to grow professionally. And all that sort of affected my spirit, right? So it was a spiritual matter. So, because cannabis was a powerful activator, a powerful sort of rite of passage that was very sacred to me, and still is. Even though I'm abstinent from it, I recognize that dimension of cannabis is like sacred. There's a sacred dimension to it. So, okay, preparing for the cleanse. Now, it's going to be very, very hard. If you're like, I will not get rid of all my marijuana, that will be very hard. It's not, it's sort of like a type of liturgy or type of practice or type of sacrament to cleanse, to get rid of it in your home. It's going to be hard for you to successfully work this cleanse if you have your bong and your bowl and your bag of weed like out on the kitchen table or whatever. So get rid of cannabis, get rid of your pipes, your vapes, your grinders, you can get all of that back if you decide after the 30 days. It's like, all right, sweet. I've now recalibrated. I've got a balanced relationship with it and myself. I'm going to reintroduce this stuff, or at least put it away, right? Maybe take it over to your buddy's house or take it over to your, somewhere that's out of sight, out of mind. Like, it was hard. I just would always like put my weed in the freezer thinking like, I'll save it. I never saved it. I would, it's like when I would try to swear off or do a little cleanse, like it wouldn't work for me if I didn't get rid of it. Right. So give yourself a chance, right, to get rid of it. So tell someone you trust. This is huge. I work with my clients all the time on forms of accountability. That's primarily one of the main reasons I'm hired to do the coaching that I do, the sobriety coaching and the life coaching, is to help hold individuals accountable for the change they want in their lives. So accountability matters. Choose someone supportive. You can also contact me for this. I'm happy to work with you to move through this 30-day cleanse. Identify triggers. Know when and where and what you used. Boredom, stress, socializing. I think in the end, I got very, very, very bored in the end, because I would wake up in the morning thinking about where I was going to smoke, where I was going to get it, when was going to be an opportunity. It was like my life began to sort of like encircle. My identity began to be framed by how I was going to use and smoke, get weed. So those things really had to change, especially in the 30 days, right? Plan healthy substitutes. Number 4, set your intention, right? It's not about quitting as much as it is about creating the life and the practices, the relationships, and the new opportunities for yourself. So just making sure I'm staying here recorded. Okay. So plan healthy substitutes. Now, we want to write all that stuff down. Again, a lot of this is actually, you've got to be participating in this work. Otherwise, it's not going to work. You won't work, right? Accountability partner. Who will you tell? Write their name and when you'll reach out. Triggers. List the top 5 triggers. And set your intentions for the next 30 days. Beyond quitting, what else do you want to improve? And you'll write all this out. You can find me on Spiritual Engineering. I didn't put this down here, but also there's a Sober Church. I have a school community called Sober Church. Spiritual Engineering is my Facebook group. And you can scan that QR code and get connected with me there as well. I have a lot of resources up there. Okay, weekly empowerment practices. So this is primary. If you do not do these weekly empowerment practices, it will be very hard for you to succeed and get all that there is to get out of a 30-day cleanse. So consistency is the key. By checking in weekly, you strengthen your accountability, build momentum, retrain your brain through small, repeatable habits. Throughout the next 30 days, these practices will empower you and be anchors, right? This will anchor your process. So accountability, check in, like who, when, and reflection. Read affirmations. Did you read your affirmation? We'll talk about creating some affirmations for yourself, AM and PM. Times that I used marijuana today. Did you slip up? Did you use marijuana? Well, we want to log that out because we want to get sort of a benchmark for growth, for the cleanse, right? 3 challenges, 3 gratitudes. What was challenging today? And then what are you grateful for today? 3 and 3, right? So that's going to be weekly. So let's talk about withdrawal for a second. While marijuana withdrawal is usually mild compared to other substances, it is real and it is predictable. So common symptoms: irritability, anxiety, mood swings. If you've been smoking every single day for months and months, years and years, you will have these. It's just part of the territory, right? Sleep difficulties, vivid dreams. Your dreams will start being in Technicolor, and a lot of people have trouble sleeping the first week, especially the first 2 or 3 days. But then that settles, right? And your body regains what's called a homeostasis without THC in your bloodstream. Okay, decreased appetite as your THC drops, right, in your bloodstream, excuse me. So decreased appetite, sometimes that can be helpful trying to lose weight, but you just want to make sure you drink plenty of water. You want to make sure that you are eating whole food meals, right? And mild headaches with restlessness. Some of these are common symptoms. They vary according to all individuals. Okay, so what happens? THC stores in fat cells and slowly releases. As levels drop, your brain adjusts to working without it. Symptoms usually peak in the first week. Physical symptoms, now the mentality, the type of mind that you have and relationship, that can take months and a long time, depending on how long you've committed and invested in yourself in that relationship. You can have cravings, you can have sort of like even grief, right, around the changing of that relationship. So activity, withdrawal journal, write about the past time you experienced marijuana withdrawal or another detox fast. How did your body feel, emotions? You just want to start getting in the habit of journaling about your experience. It's called self-authoring. It's an incredible therapeutic tool. Okay, week 1, the adjustment phase. This week is all about getting through the discomfort. It's going to be discomforting, and it's about building momentum. So focus on hygiene, water, sleep, exercise, and primarily accountability. So many people are afraid to disclose to another person, to find a solid accountability partner. And my experience has been that's like one of the anchors to transformation and to doing anything worthwhile, is to having connection with people who are moving into achieving that same sort of goal, or at least can hold you accountable. So everything, all these cravings, right? And your sort of withdrawal symptoms, some subtle, some more blatant and obvious, but they're temporary. They're all temporary. 5 to 10 minutes, write them out, right? So again, activities, self-authoring, journal how you feel mentally and physically at the end of each day this week. So ideally, you're practicing daily, right? Practicing daily, even though I've sectioned this out in weeks. So who did you check in with? Accountability. Did you read and create affirmations for yourself? I know that I will stop smoking marijuana. I know I fully realize that I'm gaining access to a cleanse in proportion to my willingness to change. 3 times, 3 challenges, 3 gratitudes. Okay. Week 2, energy begins to return. By now, the worst withdrawal symptoms are fading. You may notice more vivid dreams as REM cycle resets. Energy, mood begin to improve. Action steps, more physical activity, replace old rituals with new ones, track your progress daily. And again, the same thing. So I've got a little self-authoring prompt, and then you've got your daily checklist, right? And week 3, you're going to feel more mental clarity, right? Sharper thinking, increased productivity, greater emotional stability. You're going to start feeling proud of yourself, right? Even from the beginning, first couple of days, I felt really proud of myself. If that's a gift you give to yourself, and the growth of self-confidence about regaining your power in a relationship, especially if you're here doing a cleanse, right? So self-authoring, write about 3 ways your thinking feels sharper. List 2 tasks or projects you've been avoiding, you can now focus on. And again, the same practices of accountability. So week 4, breakthrough, right? Your body's cannabinoid receptors are much closer to baseline. Motivation, focus, balance, emotional balance should be noticeably improved. You've built a month-long habit of living without cannabis. You're moving there. And it's the same thing. Reflect on how you've changed the past month. What's easier now? What's still challenging? And write a letter from the future you, as if you're 6 months marijuana-free, thanking yourself for this cleanse. So coping strategies for the next 30 days. So you want to move daily. You want to keep your hands busy, crafts, hobby, right? Something, because a lot of it's oral fixation. So you want mindfulness, breathing exercises, stay accountable and connected. That's huge. So creating a coping menu of healthy activities, this is great, right? This is great. So congratulations. Like, I've quickly run through this guide, and just want to say, like, if you're coming back to it, or just getting a preview, it's incredibly powerful to move through a month of sobriety. So I want to congratulate you. And then, of course, life after the cleanse, stay cannabis free, moderate use, and if you return to daily use. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Final thought. It's not about perfection, it's about perspective, giving yourself the clarity. And I've got one more activity here about self-authoring. Write a decision statement. Will you stay cannabis free, moderate, or return to use? Why? List 3 ways you maintain balance and awareness around marijuana going forward. And share your journey with me. I'm curious. List the top 5 reasons that you would choose to use marijuana regularly again. And then think of, beyond quitting, what else do you want to improve? Other forms of goals in your life. You've just completed a 30-day marijuana cleanse. Like, that's super empowering. What else? What are you going to continue? So lastly, what do you do if you can't stop using marijuana or you started getting lose control? A word of warning. And here, I'm just going to breeze through it really quick, but I became a marijuana dependent, and it got to the point where it was just vital that that I had to stay stopped. Like it says, that you wouldn't have come this far if you didn't want to stay stopped. It's time that you continue the transformative work of healing your relationship to marijuana. And it's just a call to continue, because if you got 1 month and if you're already here, the probability is that you have some forms of dependency, and the probability that you will return to that form of dependency is very high. So that's what my experience was. I could not stay stopped. And I only knew of one way to gain enough power to kickstart the healing process again, and it was complete abstinence. That was my path. I had to move into complete abstinence, which was not a rejection of marijuana. It was a new relationship of abstinence, right? It was a new relationship with self. And I get to be with marijuana in different ways, right? Supporting it from the sidelines, right? It's sort of just like I aged out of the game. And now I have 14 years of sobriety, and it's just outstanding. So look, if you need help doing this, I want to offer a free call for you now. We'll get clarity about your story and specific needs. I will help you maintain accountability. That's what I really focus on, is helping people get through the first 30 days of the cleanse. And then we start building up your life from there. You can book through here. You can just follow these links, follow the QR code, and book on me, get on my calendar. And I'm just so grateful that you decided to join us for a few minutes, take a look and overview of this, how to do a 30-day marijuana cleanse. You can do it. Give yourself a little break, and I will see you in Sober School. This, of course, will be available in Sober Church. Not Sober School. That's also interesting. In Sober Church. And if you haven't heard it yet today, you are loved.